You did everything right. You didn't gamble. You didn't chase interest. You didn't trust a stranger with a briefcase. You took the hardest currency you could find, German marks, earned abroad, counted twice, and you put them in a state bank, the safest place in the country. One morning the counter said no, not come back tomorrow, not there's a delay, no, and it stayed no for 24 years. Could it happen in your country? Autumn, 1990. A woman walks into her bank in Sarajevo with a savings book and a plan. A roof that needs replacing, maybe a car, ordinary money, for an ordinary life. The clerk takes the book, looks at it, puts it back on the counter. The money is still hers. It says so, right there, printed in her book. It's just not available. This is not a bank run. Nobody is panicking. There is no crowd outside. That comes later. What happened is quieter than a crash, and worse. The government reintroduced capital controls, and the central bank stopped honoring the foreign currency savings sitting in the system. The banks, functionally, were broke, and the money in that book, real German marks deposited by a real person, had already been spent by someone else. To understand what was taken, you have to understand why it was there. Yugoslavia was the socialist country with open borders. Millions of its citizens worked abroad, West Germany, Austria, Sweden, and sent money home. Others earned hard currency in tourism, in shipping, on ships. They did not save in dinars. Nobody saved in dinars. The dinar lost value every year, and everyone knew it. They saved in Deutsche Marks, and the state wanted those marks, badly. So it made saving in hard currency easy, legal, and attractive. You could walk into a state bank, deposit German marks, get interest, and take them out whenever you liked. It was advertised as patriotic. Your marks would build the country. And it went further than advertising. Printed on the cover of the savings book itself, 4 words, Za ulog, Jemči, Država. The deposit is guaranteed by the state. That was not a slogan. It was the law. The Federation itself stood behind foreign currency deposits, on paper, in writing. Here is the part that matters. The bank did not keep your marks in a drawer with your name on it. Your local bank passed the hard currency up to the National Bank of Yugoslavia and got dinars back. The central bank used the foreign currency for what states use foreign currency for: imports, debt, reserves. Your savings book was a claim. The marks themselves were already gone, years before anyone told you. Strip the politics away, and it is a simple machine, and it is not a scam. It is worse than a scam because it was written down and signed. Step 1. A citizen deposits hard currency in a local bank. Step 2. The local bank hands that hard currency to the central bank and receives dinars in return. Step 3. The central bank spends the hard currency. Step 4. The citizen's claim stays on the books of a local bank that no longer has the money, backed by a central bank that has already spent it. For as long as more people are depositing than withdrawing, nothing breaks. That sentence should sound familiar. It is the same arithmetic as episode 2. The difference is who is running it. In episode 2, it was 2 private bankers with a marble lobby. Here it is the monetary system of a country. And when the country stopped functioning, the machine stopped with it. Autumn 1990, capital controls. The savings freeze. Then the country dissolves, and every new state inherits the same question. Who owes these people their money? Bosnia says the bank was based in Slovenia. Slovenia says the branch was in Bosnia. Serbia says the deposits went to a central bank that no longer exists. Every answer is legally arguable. Every answer means the same thing to the woman with the savings book. Nobody pays. Could it happen in your country? Now watch the second move, because this is the one people miss. In 1992, a decree recognized, quietly in a clause about separate regulation, that the state was responsible for the foreign currency savings that had been deposited with the national bank. Responsibility acknowledged, payment deferred. Then, in 1998 and again in 2002, Serbia legislated how it would repay, partly in cash, partly in government bonds. Bonds to be paid off by 2016 in 12 annual installments. Read that again. Money you deposited in 1989 would be returned to you in installments, finishing in 2016. 27 years. And notice what happened along the way. Your deposit was a private claim on a bank. It became a public debt of a state, which means it was no longer paid by the bank that took it. It was paid by taxpayers, including, quite often, the same people who were waiting to be repaid. That is the third extraction of the series, and it is the one that never appears in the headline. Some people waited. Some people sold their savings books to speculators at a fraction of face value because a fraction now beats a promise in 12 installments. And 3 people went to court. On the 30th of July, 2005, 3 citizens of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Emina Ališić, Aziz Sadžak, and Sakib Šahdanović, filed an application in Strasbourg. Their claim was narrow and simple. They could not withdraw their old foreign currency savings from the Sarajevo branch of Ljubljanska banka and from the Tuzla branch of Investbanka. They had not been able to for years. Look at the numbers in their books, because this is what the whole case is made of. 4,700 marks, 63,000, and 129,000. Someone's entire working life in one column of a savings book. The case took 9 years. On the 16th of July, 2014, the Grand Chamber of the European Court of Human Rights ruled. The court held that Slovenia and Serbia were responsible for the debts owed by those 2 banks, and that there had been no good reason to keep the savers waiting for so many years. It found a violation of the right to peaceful enjoyment of property and a violation of the right to an effective remedy. Slovenia set up a repayment scheme in 2015. Within the 1-year deadline the court had given it, over 38,000 claims came in. By late 2018, it had paid out nearly 290 million euros, and the Council of Europe closed the case. Serbia set up its own scheme in 2016 for deposits in Serbian banks' branches across the former country. Around 310 million euros, paid in 10 installments, the last of them in 2023. From the freeze to the final installment, 33 years, the money came back, some of it, eventually, after an international court told 2 governments to pay. Count the losses honestly, because they are not only the headline number. You lost the use of your money for a quarter of a century. Whatever you were saving for, the roof, the car, the education, did not happen, or happened on credit at a cost. You lost the difference between what a mark bought in 1990 and what it bought when the payment finally arrived. If you sold your claim to a speculator to get something now, you lost the gap between what you sold it for and what it was worth. And a great many people simply died waiting. 26 years is longer than some of the depositors had left, and the scale of it. Serbia's own books eventually recognized a debt of some 4.2 billion euros of old foreign currency savings to roughly 600,000 of its savers. Paid off in bonds, the last of them in 2016. The state, meanwhile, got an interest-free loan from its own citizens, denominated in the hardest currency available for a generation. Nobody stole anything. Every step had a legal basis. That is the point. Could it happen in your country? So ask the uncomfortable version of the question. Your money in the bank is not your money. It is a claim on a bank. That claim is backed by a promise from a state, deposit insurance, a guarantee scheme, a central bank that says it will stand behind it. That promise is worth exactly as much as the state's willingness to keep it on the day you need it. Yugoslavia's savers had the promise in print. 4 words on the cover. The state guarantees the deposit. Cyprus, 2013. Accounts frozen, capital controls, large deposits written down. Greece, 2015. Banks closed for 3 weeks, 60 euros a day from a cash machine. Neither was Yugoslavia. Both were the same sentence. The money is yours. It is just not available. Yugoslavia's savers were not reckless. They chose the safest instrument in the country, in the hardest currency in Europe, at a state institution. It took them 24 years and a court in France. Next week, the men on the street corner who became the country's real central bank. Could it happen in your country?